The confession booth. In 2017, a 22-year-old student named Noah moved to New Orleans for college. To save money, he started working nights cleaning an old Catholic church called St. Gabriel Church. The church was over 100 years old, huge wooden doors, long dark hallways, candles everywhere, and one rule the head priest repeated constantly: never enter the confession booth after midnight. Noah thought it sounded ridiculous. The priests there were old-fashioned and superstitious. He assumed the rule was just meant to scare new workers. For the first month, everything felt normal. He vacuumed carpets, cleaned candle wax, locked doors, and listened to music through headphones while working alone at night. But strange things slowly started happening. Some mornings, Noah found muddy footprints inside the church even though every entrance had been locked. Sometimes candles lit themselves, and more than once, he heard whispering coming from the confession area despite nobody being there. One night around 12:30 a.m., Noah was cleaning near the altar when the church lights suddenly flickered. Then all of them shut off at once. Only the red emergency lights remained. The entire church turned dark crimson. Noah pulled out his phone flashlight and nervously checked the breaker room. Everything looked normal. As he walked back through the church aisle, he heard something behind him. A soft knocking sound, coming from the confession booth. Noah froze. The booth sat in the far corner of the church near a statue of Mary. Its wooden door was slightly open. He slowly approached it. Hello. No answer. Then he heard breathing. Someone was definitely inside. Noah assumed maybe one of the priests was still there. He carefully looked through the booth opening. Empty. Nobody inside. The breathing stopped instantly. His chest tightened. Then from directly beside his ear, a voice whispered, "Forgive me." Noah jumped back so hard he nearly fell. But nobody stood behind him. He immediately left the church early that night. The next morning, he told Father Benoit what happened. The old priest looked disturbed. Then he quietly asked, "You didn't sit inside the booth, did you?" Noah shook his head. The priest seemed relieved, but he finally explained the truth. Years earlier, another priest had disappeared during late-night confessions. Witnesses claimed people heard screaming from inside the booth before the church suddenly lost power. When police arrived, the priest was gone, but there was blood covering the walls inside the confessional. After that night, multiple workers reported hearing voices after midnight. Some even claimed the booth spoke to them using voices of dead relatives. Noah wanted to quit immediately, but he needed the money badly, so he kept working. 3 nights later, the storm hit the city. Heavy rain hammered the church windows while thunder shook the building. At exactly 1:13 a.m., the lights went out again. This time Noah heard something worse. Crying, coming from the confession booth. A woman crying softly. Then came words between sobs. "Please help me." Noah tried ignoring it, but the crying became louder, desperate, painful. Finally he walked toward the booth again. The door slowly creaked open by itself. Inside sat a woman wearing black clothing with her head lowered. Long wet hair covered her face. Noah stepped closer carefully. "Ma'am," the woman spoke weakly. "He's still here." Noah swallowed nervously. "Who?" The woman slowly pointed toward the other side of the booth where priests normally sat during confession. Noah lifted his flashlight. At first he saw nothing. Then lightning flashed through the church windows. For 1 second, Noah saw a man sitting there. An old priest smiling unnaturally wide, eyes completely black, hands folded calmly. Then the lights died again. The church became pitch black. The woman began screaming. Not normal screaming, animal-like screaming. Noah stumbled backward in panic and dropped his flashlight. Somewhere inside the darkness, footsteps rushed toward him, fast, dragging across wood. Noah sprinted down the church aisle while the screaming echoed behind him. Just before reaching the exit, he glanced back. The confession booth door stood wide open, and inside, dozens of faces were pressed against the darkness watching him silently. He escaped outside into the storm and never returned. The next morning, church staff found the confession booth locked from the inside. Police forced it open. Nobody was there, but carved deep into the wooden wall were 7 words. "He never lets people leave after confession."